ABC News is partnering with Maria Shriver and the Alzheimer's Association to bring you a landmark study, the Shriver Report. A woman's nation takes on Alzheimer's. There are 5.3 million Americans with Alzheimer's, and today we're going to focus on the 11 million friends and family members who care for them without pay, often at risk to their own health. Maria Shriver is here live with Dr. Maria Savar. We're going to get to them in just a minute, but first, here's Maria's look at the caregivers and the sacrifices they make every day.
For half her life, Lindsay Jordan has been facing the other side of the Alzheimer's tragedy, being a caregiver. Her dad was diagnosed when she was just 8 years old. The hardship and anguish she has faced already, some don't experience in a lifetime.
Do you feel like you have a father still?
I don't really remember anything before this disease because he got it when I was so young, but I know that he loved me and that he cared about me, and I guess that's all that really matters.
As our new report documents, caregivers are victims too. They battle with insurance providers and make adjustments to their work life. Many fight for flexible hours and time off. And believe it or not, being a caregiver can be hazardous to your health.
Caregivers are depressed. They get ill more often than other people their age. They're hospitalized more than other people their age.
But even as the disease progresses, the deep bonds of family love are always present. Ginny Oheim's daughter quit her job to take care of her.
You're lucky you got a daughter.
I wanted her so bad. My sister had 3 boys. I had 1. I wanted a girl so bad. I got one. It's been a joy ever since. And I don't know of many girls who do as much for their parents as she's done.
Our new study shows that a majority of caregivers are women. When former First Lady Laura Bush was campaigning with her husband for the governorship of Texas and raising her young girls, she helped her mother take care of her dad, who had Alzheimer's. He died in 1995. Mrs. Bush talks of that struggle in an essay in our new report.
The average caregiver is a woman who is betwixt and between, who's raising kids, who's working, and who's trying to care for her parents and is overwhelmed.
It was a very, very demanding life, and I don't think I gave Mother and Daddy the kind of help I could have or would have if I'd been more accessible.
She says her father hung on to a sense of humor despite his progressing illness.
Daddy said, "Who's that over there?" And I said, "That's my husband, Dad. That's George Bush." And he said, "You married George Bush?" And I said, "Yes." And then he laughed and said, "I think I'll ask him for a loan."
Lindsay's father is now in the late stages of the disease. Even though he can still walk, his mind is mostly gone.
Hey!
He's in a living facility, but Lindsay and her mom are still giving care.
I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye.
Lindsay says that singing to her dad his favorite song, The Orange-Colored Sky by Nat King Cole, has on occasion brought his mind back.
That was good.
And when you can't bring him back?
Then I try again within a few minutes and see if it works again.
And when you don't get successful, what do you do?
Well, I mean, of course it's sad that he doesn't remember or come back, but I know that somewhere inside he does realize who I am, maybe.
You hope.
Bam! Alakazam, I gotta look at you.
I was walking along, minding my business.
But our story ends with an unexpected gift. Something beautiful happened while our cameras were rolling. After Lindsay sang, when it was time to leave, her father uttered something he hasn't said in several years.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you, he says. And for a brief, sweet moment, Lindsay's father was back.
Oh, my.
Yeah, beautiful.
What a moment.
Lindsay is one of about 250,000 kids under the age of 18 caring for parents and grandparents with Alzheimer's, and there's about another 1.5 million that care for grandparents and parents with other diseases. So young kids are really tomorrow's caregivers.
Well, yeah, she wanted to tell her story because she knows other teens are going through it.
Yeah, so many, and they're doing an incredible job supporting their mothers. And also, I might add that there are about 4 million men also stepping up to help the millions of women who are helping their mothers. But this is a whole new world that we're living in.
I do want to get to the men in a second, but let me bring in Dr. Marie Savard first. You know, people in the Alzheimer's community have a saying. They say there are always two victims, the person with Alzheimer's and the one who cares for them.
It's true, and I don't think people realize the toll, both the emotional and physical toll, that caring for someone can take on a person. I think even physicians don't recognize it. In the survey, as you pointed out, the 40% of the caregivers who were caring for someone with Alzheimer's reported the highest possible level of stress. And stress can lead to a number of physical and emotional problems. As you heard, everything from depression to sleep disorders to then things, medical problems such as high blood pressure, heart disease. And one actually survey of elderly caregivers found that there was an increase in mortality, a 63% increase in mortality. So
that's right, and we also found out in the poll that they spend an additional $4 billion themselves on healthcare costs that they incur because they're caregiving.
So they're making all kinds of sacrifices, which adds to the stress. So Marie, what can the caregivers do to take care of themselves? Even though they're giving so much and they want to give so much, they have to make space for their own lives.
Well, they do. I mean, I talk about both taking control of what you can. There's so much that you can't control. You can't control the progression of the illness. You can't control all of the stresses around finances. But there are things you can do. I think first and foremost is thinking about yourself first, and that is lifestyle choices, how you eat, exercise, even if you have to stay at home to do a form of exercise. Sleep. I know my sister has said this, and I've heard it from so many patients. Arguably, if you don't get enough sleep, everything collapses. So if you can figure out how to take naps, get sleep, take time for yourself, and then connect. So take control of what you can and connect with others. Stay online, you know, make sure you make a phone call every now and then. You were mentioning what your family does as far as a regular phone call of getting together and talking about things. I think you have to stay connected to other people because the social isolation is extraordinary and you've got to delegate. It's not about you doing it all alone.
There's a lot of support groups now also for caregivers. You can find that out by going onto the Alzheimer's Association website. They direct you because it's really hard, particularly I think for women, to get that idea, I should put myself first.
Well, that's right. But you mentioned the men, 4 million men now also serving as caregivers, and it's not necessarily a natural fit for the men either.
And it's becoming that, which I'm really happy about. I have 4 brothers, and they're really involved in my dad's care. And I think that they're presenting for all of us, the new kind of model of a man, a strong, nurturing man. Because men are stepping up to care for their wives, to care for their mothers. Some beautiful essays about men saying, you know, I moved back in with my mom, and I'm bathing her and changing her. And it is difficult, but women need help. And I said to my own brothers, I need you to help me with our parents. And they stepped up in the most beautiful way.
Well, it's great to hear. You can read a lot more about it on our website at abcnews.com. Maria Shriver, Marie Savard, thank you both very much. Also, you can read the complete essays from Laura Bush and Lindsay Jordan. That's also on our website, abcnews.com/GMA.